Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. Y'all, so lately when I give a reading, I've been feeling like a news anchor, and every story is going to take me to a different location. If I were to give you the location of today's news story, I would say that I have just arrived to the home. I'm talking about I'm at their house. I am at the home of a divine masculine and Jezebel. Now, so far, I am only here because this divine masculine is sitting in the energy of confusion, and they're recognizing that they were under some type of illusion. And so the smoke or the fog is clearing. Anything this divine masculine could not see before, this person is in the process of putting pieces together. So that is where this story, listen, when we talk about divine feminine or divine masculine, there's no one location energetically that says divine. Like if you're here, you're divine. And so there is a spectrum, right? The law of polarity exists, and anybody can be at a specific degree of their own divinity. Some people are higher, some people are lower. And so this could be somebody who is in the process of waking up to a higher version of self. And so in order to get this reading out, it looks like we had to pull up to their house. All right, y'all. So in order to tell you this story, I have to talk to you about the magic paintbrush. And the magic paintbrush is a Chinese folktale. So I'm going to tell you a real story. And this story is going to connect almost perfectly to what this divine masculine is going through. Now, this is going to tell you about what happened in the past. This is going to tell you how he ended up in a house with a Jezebel. And that was really not what was supposed to happen based on how the magic paintbrush works. All right, so here we go. I'm about to hit you with a once upon a time. So once upon a time, there was a young man, and his name was called Ma Lang. Now, sorry if that is not the correct pronunciation, but that's how we're going to get it this time. So there was a young man named Ma Lang. He was kind, he was poor, and he helped a rich man tend to cattle, okay? He loved to draw. He drew pictures everywhere. One night, he had a dream that an old man gave him a paintbrush. The old man in the dream asked him to use the paintbrush to help poor people. So when he wakes up, he finds the magic paintbrush on his desk. From that day on, he uses the paintbrush wherever people need help. He saw that people had no water in the fields, so he drew a river, and the river came to life. He saw that it was difficult for people to till their lands, so he drew a cow, and the cow came to life to help them till their fields. Many, many people learned of his magic paintbrush. And so there was a rich man that he had helped along the way, and this rich man hears that the magic paintbrush can turn everything to life. Now, this man was morally corrupt, and he planned to steal the magic paintbrush. He had a desire to just make a lot of money by turning things to life and then keeping them for himself. So he sent people to the painter's home, and he had him taken to prison. Finally, he had the magic paintbrush, and finally the rich man feels happy. He invites all his friends over. He shows the magic paintbrush, and he draws a lot of pictures. None of his pictures become real. So he becomes angry, and then he sends people out to go and retrieve the painter. And so the rich man says to the painter, "If you draw me pictures, and if you turn them to life, I will set you free." So he responds, "I can help you, but you should obey your words." And so the rich man agrees, and he says, "I want a gold mountain. I'm going to go to the gold mountain, and I'm going to gather gold." The young man drew a sea first. Now, when the young man started to draw a sea, the rich man became very mad and very angry. He wanted to know, "Why are you drawing a sea? I don't want this. I want a golden mountain. Draw it quickly." And so he drew the golden mountain far from the sea. The rich man says, "Draw me a ship." I want to go there to go gather gold. And so he draws a ship. The rich man jumps into the ship first, and he gets in there with a lot of his family and a lot of his friends. When the ship sets sail to the middle of the sea, the young man draws a large wave, and it destroys the ship. The end, right? So the rich man, the family, his friends, all gone. You were a magic paintbrush. And so this divine masculine has access to you at some point. When you enter somebody's life, you are the spark. You are the new beginning. Your creativity, your passion, your fire, your excitement. You are inspiration. This is saying to me that somebody held you in their hand. This is about manifestation, honestly. I feel like you are a master manifester. You are a master manifester. And there could have been a period of time where people recognized that this was a gift unique to you, and they may have used it against you. But this reading talks about like a level of prowess that you yourself have discovered. And so you have an exchange with the divine masculine. You are the Ace of Wands, the magic paintbrush in his hand, and he has the ability to paint his life. All right. And so try to get what you love, otherwise you'll have to love what you got. And so think about the rich man who could have access to something so powerful. Now, he couldn't make the pictures come alive, even with all of his wealth. He didn't have the ability to manifest or really create. All right. And so now we have the haves and the have-nots. And when I talk about the have or the have-nots, those that have the Most High in them and those that don't have the Most High in them. And so this is what separates the creators from the counterfeit. And we know that Satan, or the devil, we know that Satan can't create anything. Okay. And so you are one of the Most Highs, and because of the wand that you carry in you, the spirit and the spark of new beginnings, just the raw energy of you. When somebody is in your life and you are committed and connected to them, your fire, your spark is going to rub off on them to the point that what their life looked like before you got there versus what it looks like after, the painting is totally different. You allow people, what does fire do? It lightens, it brightens, it gives you heat, right? And so all the things that fire can naturally do for humans in the world, that is what you individually do for people when you are beside them in their life. But not everybody can hold the magic paintbrush and generate something that will help them. Now, the thing is, however people use you, whatever happens next is going to be for their greatest good, even if it doesn't feel good type thing. So somebody holds you and still manifests an experience where they have committed themselves to a Jezebel spirit. How did that happen? And so one of my handmade cards says right now, this divine masculine is sitting in the energy of confusion or illusion. It says you got what you wanted, but you lost what you had. And so you got the paintbrush. You had a moment to create something. And this is about now listen, I've talked about manifestation, and I'm always going to listen. Neo made it so very clear to me. So manifestation, right? You think about what you want in your mind. And so the divine masculine holds you as the paintbrush, and he can see things that he's never seen, possibilities. He can imagine, he can create, he can dream about what he wants his and I'm sorry for I'm saying he, this totally could be a woman, but I'm just going to go with the way the energy presents. It's just easier to tell the story. Okay, fine. So he's holding you and he can see things that he's never seen. But manifestation is a conversation between the mind and the heart. And so the mind is going to start telling the heart things. And when the mind sees something that it likes, it is going to call on the heart to generate the energy to call for it, to ask for it, to get the universe to give it to us. Okay. And so the mind sees it and the heart has to go pick it up. The heart can only pick up what it is heavy enough, what it can carry. Right. And so you can totally want joy and love and loyalty and honesty and fidelity in your relationship. But if your heart is not calling out those frequencies because it is unhealed or it is broken and it is wounded, it is really only screaming sounds of pain. And so if your mind and your heart are not speaking the same language when it's time to manifest, unfortunately, you are always going to manifest what is in your heart. Now, in your mind, you didn't want to date an abuser. In your mind, you didn't want to be with somebody who's domineering and controlling and possessive and sneaky and dishonest. Like, you mentally didn't want that for yourself. But if your heart is still wounded and aching from those experiences with those type of people, and you haven't rectified its language, you haven't fixed its sound, even if you pick up the magic paintbrush, it's hard to see and feel beyond the pain. This divine masculine had you in his vision, but he didn't have you in his heart. And so somehow he still manifests a connection, an experience, a whole commitment with the Jezebel. Like, Jezebel is home. Like, they are at the house, y'all. They are at the house. And like, this is almost a right now moment where the divine masculine is like, oh my God, like, I literally got what I wanted, but I lost what I had. And the problem is that his heart didn't know what he had when he was holding the paintbrush. His mind could see it, but his heart just couldn't pick up the right frequency. It couldn't resonate the correct sound. And so the divine masculine has to call in the sound of his heart. And that was something that was in alignment with the Jezebel spirit. This could also be because you're going to attract what you are. And so this could be a divine masculine who was also coming out in the spirit of a Jezebel. And even when holding the magic paintbrush, this person wasn't able to kind of hack or conquer or overcome whatever the demon was that possesses them. And so they call in what their heart is crying out for, or what their heart cried out for that they haven't been able to settle themselves from. Y'all, I have a card here and it talks about the Seven of Wands. Now, on this Seven of Wands is John Henry. Now, John Henry is based on African American folktale. And you know, John Henry is really revealing to us technological advancement, right? So this was a man versus machine. John Henry felt like he had the ability to be better than a drill. Right. And so either I'm going to beat the nail in or the drill is going to drill the nail in. But John Henry almost wanted to race against a machine. Now, John Henry beat the machine, but unfortunately died soon after from exhaustion. The divine masculine almost went into you being this magic paintbrush, you are essentially a machine. I am talking to master manifestors. You are representations of tech. Y'all, I'm about to fuck this word up. Technological advancement. That is what a manifestor is representing. You are an advanced version of human. Like, the majority of the human population hasn't gotten there. And so when you arrive in people's lives, you are giving them a glimpse of a version of themselves that they will be able to become if they can naturally do whatever it is that they get to watch you do. Okay? This is like you got a teacher coming to your house and you're about to do a one-on-one art class. But this is with the greatest art teacher ever. This is somebody who can create anything from their passion, their spark, their energy. This is that one. And the Most High sends them to you because you need to see a new version of life. You need to pick up something because I need you to paint something else in your life. And so you are sent. And the masculine almost goes into competition and doesn't recognize you as being an advanced version of some place that they need to get for themselves. You were the helper. Y'all, when technology comes, it assists us. But you know, not everybody really evolves or adapts to technology in the moment that it arrives. It can take some people decades to truly open up and feel comfortable and give it a chance. That is what happened with the divine masculine. His heart was so comfortable with Jezebel. It was almost like he goes into a competition to reveal to you that whatever it's like my way or the highway type thing. But you were the help. And so that is what the divine masculine is realizing right now. Like, this is why we had to pull up to this house, because in this moment, he got what he wanted. His heart wanted a Jezebel because he behaved like a Jezebel. So he got the Jezebel. He's at the house with Jezebel and he ain't happy with Jezebel. And so he's recognizing, well, if I didn't have Jezebel, what would I have? Here comes the magic paintbrush. You had a master manifester. But the greed, your desire, the things that you wanted, it was even too much for you to consume. And so just like the rich man who sets himself up to be a victim of his own story, right? I want a gold mountain. And so this is what the manifestor does, y'all. Here, oh my God. The painter in the story says, but you got to honor your word. Like, you have to obey what you say. Y'all, this could have been a divine masculine that had a reckless mouth. Okay? And everything he spoke, believe it or not, is everything that you painted for him. His mind didn't know that he was going to be in this type of devastation or loss or aloneness. But his heart was screaming, I'm in pain. And so unfortunately, everything the heart is speaking, that is what is being written. And you in your mind, you could have known that this person just needed to be liberated from their own energy. But you can't free somebody that's like fighting you to keep the chains on, or sees you as some type of threat. You are the helper. You represented that help is here for you. And this person went into full John Henry mode to defend and protect themselves against you. Okay? And so now this person is in the state where they're recognizing that you were a helper. They're recognizing why you were sent. And I don't even know if there's a connection between the two of you where they can ask for help. I don't know if the support is still available, whether or not you're able to give this person a chance, whether, like, whatever that is, it doesn't matter. But this is just, I'm at the house because this person has finally recognized something. Now, when John Henry was exhausting himself to the point of death, right? Like that is, and what I'm saying is like the strength of this masculine's resistance, the way this person resisted, right, is very similar to the rich guy who just had to have it the way he had it. And in the process of seeing what he wanted in his eyes, his heart couldn't pick up on the threat, of what it took to travel to the Gold Mountain, couldn't consider the fact that there could have been a storm. Like, sometimes people are just so into what they are into that they just can't imagine another possibility, but they can't see the outcome of their desires. And so sometimes people have to draw pain. They have to paint pain in their life. They have to paint it again and again and again. And they continue to have new beginnings. But these are new beginnings in pain. They must paint this way. They must manifest. And they have to manifest this until they recognize that they themselves have the power to not do this. And so not only are you the magic paintbrush in another's life, but you are going to paint them everything their mouth has said. And when your mouth is speaking, it is revealing what is already in your heart. Fuck what your eyes were looking at. Fuck what your mind was saying. That's ego, right? But when it's finally time to call down everything you have spoken, somebody had a whole damn Jezebel that they had bound themselves to, and they fought you off like a wild animal, not recognizing that you were the thing that their heart truly wanted and needed. But they had to eat the words. They had to eat what they asked for. And so you are coming out as a fool. In this deck, on the Fool card, it is a mermaid. And this is the moment where the mermaid is finally ready to leave the water and walk on land. And so this is about you doing subconscious work. This connection with you and this masculine, this was a moment for you to kind of clean up your subconscious. And so this is like, sometimes you don't know how clean your house is until you go to somebody's house that's a little bit dirty, right? And so sometimes you have to go around somebody who doesn't keep up themselves well. So you be like, oh shit, I got to clean that up. Like, ooh, is that what I look like? Like, sometimes you have to be in a space that makes you energetically uncomfortable, that you got to wash that shit off. And what you're really doing is cleaning out your subconscious, even to manifest a connection with this type of divine masculine. And, sometimes, I'm going to keep going. Even to manifest this type of relationship, it is something that even as a manifester you needed. You yourself, as the magic paintbrush, could have been misusing some of your manifestation powers, gifts, and abilities. Not everybody should have access to your paintbrush. If the Most High says, I'm going to give you these gifts, talents, and skills, and I want you to help those in need, some people don't recognize that they don't really need anything. They need to stop being their own problem. Okay? And so there are certain people that you are going to need to help paint something better. And there are some people who are supposed to just watch you paint. Right? So this may not have been somebody that was ever equally yoked. But when they watched you paint, they felt like, I can paint better. I can paint more. Maybe this is somebody who felt like you didn't have enough in your picture. And so when we're talking about Jezebel, this is about lust, greed, desire, but this is about our carnal nature. We want it now. We want to feel good. We want pleasure. And so whatever you were painting, it looked totally different because you're coming out as the fool, which means you did a lot of subconscious work. You were like cleaning your paintbrushes. You were cleaning your palettes. When I'm talking about you subconsciously cleaning, before you start to paint, you're like, let me go clean my brushes. Can you imagine trying to paint a new picture with dirty brushes? That's what it's like when we try to manifest without doing shadow work because we haven't worked through our own subconscious. And so this person taught you what it looks like to paint a dirty picture. Okay? And so I have a card that says, it's okay if you don't like me. Not everyone has good taste. There could have been a moment in time. If somebody went against you with the force of John Henry, if somebody went against you and you were just there to help, to inspire, to love, to spark, that had to wear on you energetically, emotionally, to be resisted and rejected and overlooked. Subconsciously, that was something that you may have had to experience with this person. And you literally had to get to the point where you could say, it's okay if you don't like me, but you had to mean it. You couldn't get mad. You couldn't get triggered because everybody can feel how they want to feel. That is free will. And if the Most High gives us free will, anybody could spend it how they want to spend it. And so somebody spent their free will resisting you, and you were the advancement that they needed. You were there to help. You were the tool, but they came against you with force. And so subconsciously, this taught you, let me clean up my paintbrushes so that when my paintbrush comes to me, I don't fuck it up too, right? And so you start doing work to the point where you're like, oh, it's okay if you don't want to paint with me. Oh, no, it's okay if we don't have the same picture. I'm fine. And so I have a card where distant future, you could already see the sun coming over the horizon. You knew where the future was taking you. And so you just made peace with it because you already had knowledge. You were already balanced. You had already restored your subconscious. You restored the relationship between your ego, your conscious mind, and your subconscious, your unconscious. Like you had already made peace. And so there was no room to be triggered or offended. I mean, yes, it stings. Yes, we wear it. But it was nothing that you were going to sit in. Like emotions are like an outfit. And sometimes you can have a fight and then you're going to sit in that shit and then you be like, damn, I got to change clothes. I don't want to wear this anymore. Not everybody can change clothes. Some people just go put a new outfit on top of the dirty outfit. And so that is what this masculine had done, apparently for a very long time. They kept changing their mind. They kept changing what they thought they looked like, but they had on some dirty clothes that they had just never taken off. This person revealed to you, I need to do some fucking laundry because I would hate for God to give me a moment and I miss it because I'm a fool, because I can't get out of my subconscious, because I'm too afraid to walk on land. Now, you're coming up as being intuitively gifted. You have this gift. The divine masculine is almost looking like a speed bump for you. It's like you have a destination to get to, but the Most High is like, can you just go over the speed bump real quick? I just want to make sure that you know how to slow down and pay attention to your environment. I want you to pay attention to your surroundings. I want you to figure out, like, some speed bumps will fuck your car up. And so there's like a certain way that you have to navigate energies like this. And so this could have been a speed bump, but you are still always destined to travel safely, right? But You got to travel safely in order to travel safely over a speed bump. So something about this relationship, it was supposed to teach you how to overcome situations like this, but you didn't have to park here. You didn't have to park on the speed bump, okay? But it was an experience that you needed in order to restore the balance inside of you. And you got the knowledge. You got what you needed. When you walk away from this divine masculine, you're like, okay, so I'm only going to focus on what really matters. What I just experienced with that person, the shit that really matters to them is either super carnal. It's the shit that don't matter, right? Can you imagine somebody who prioritizes objects or materials and then they get sick? And the TV's not going to hold you. The video game ain't going to hold you. The shoes ain't going to hold you. The bags, the wigs, like none of that shit is going to hold you and make you feel better. But the things that the lengths that you go to acquire those things, you think that they would give you brand new organs when you finally got them, but they don't. And so sometimes people are willing to like cut your head off just to get to an object that doesn't even have a heartbeat, that can't hug them, that can't kiss them, that can't console them. That's the energy of this divine masculine. Like this person had to move in with Jezebel. They had to. But they had to move in with Jezebel after they had the experience with the magic paintbrush. Like it had to work this way. They had to probably encounter many Jezebels. Listen, if you're going to call a Jezebel in, you got a little bit of Jezebel residue on you already. Okay? Jezebel's going to go where Jezebel knows that she can be profitable and she wants to gain. And whoever she has to control or dominate, then fine. A lot of us have crossed paths with Jezebel and didn't necessarily become her. Okay? So what is in this person is the very thing that they made home with. But your gift is what allowed you to travel safely over this speed bump. You focused on what really matters because you watched somebody focus on a whole bunch of shit that didn't matter to the point that they missed their help. They fought against their help. Okay? So however you organize the things that are most important to you, however you put your energy in the pots that are going to give you energy is what takes you to the space of fulfillment. It says your intuition is so strong that not only do you know who you are, but you know who they are too. So your gift revealed to you, oh, you're a speed bump. I don't park here, but I do need to slow down because if the Most High brought me here, there must be something in the surrounding area that I need to watch out for. Typically, speed bumps are going to be in neighborhoods where, first of all, people live there, so you shouldn't be going 60 miles an hour, right? And so you pay attention because there are people walking on foot, there are pets, there are children, there are deaf, there are the blind. There are a lot of different places where you drive, and a speed bump is really about making sure the environment that you're driving through is still safe and protected as you get to where you're going. And so the Most High said, I want you to get where you're going, but I want you to take a detour. I want you to hit this speed bump, and I want you to see what's happening out here, with certain energies. And this is what helps you become a manifester, a better manifester. This is what teaches you I am always going to clean up my painting space after or when I am trying to prepare to paint a picture. I can't paint with dirty brushes. I don't want no dirty water, which is really our dirty emotions. I don't want to try to paint on no dirty canvas, right? Like I don't want to try to build a new story if I'm still attached to somebody else in another story. That's not really a clean canvas where I can manifest from. So yeah, this taught you something. Your intuition went in overdrive. And by seeing who this person was, it also revealed to you who you were. Y'all, you couldn't be anybody else but you. And something about watching this person be so committed to nothing, it proved to you, or it revealed to you how powerful your focus is. You cannot manifest if you can't focus. And you only want to focus on what really matters. The only reason why this divine masculine got Jezebel is because he was focusing on Jezebel type shit. And so here comes Jezebel, but you had to call her in. Put the phone down and stop calling her. But how do you stop calling Jezebel? How do you stop calling in lustful desires and pleasures and all the shit that doesn't matter? How do you stop calling it in? Well, you listen to your heart, but you got to find the language that it's speaking. If it's still hurt, if it's like, you know what I mean? And so sometimes Jezebel is a Band-Aid. It'll make you feel good in the moment. It'll make you feel good for a couple hours, a couple months, a couple weeks. But when that thing starts really letting loose, it is you have bound yourself to something that wants to possess, something that wants to energetically drain. Jezebel wants to eat and devour you. Okay? So I was just at their house. We were just at their house. And this is what is going on. And this is the neighborhood that I feel like you have already driven through. Right? And so this person is at the moment where they're finally realizing that you were help. You were the technological advancement that was sent to them in order to get their life on track. You could build a lot more shit if you just pick up the drill. Okay? Somebody's like, fuck that. I'm going to use my hammer. I'm going to use whatever this thing is here. But I'm going to exhaust myself in the process of doing it. And then I'm going to recognize, damn, I could have used you the whole time, but you're gone. I lost what I had. I had a damn drill, but I had to do it this way. Now I'm exhausted and I ain't got no energy. I don't know what to do next. And my help is gone. I've lost my tool. Okay, so after this person recognizes that you're the help, then they're going to want to get in balance. Then they're going to want to restore. Now, they may reach out to you in order to see if they can restore harmony, but the balance is really about them being this mermaid who can finally get out of their subconscious and walk on land consciously. This is a person who is painting their life from their subconscious mind. With dirty paintbrushes, dirty palettes, dirty water. They ain't washed their smock. They ain't cleaned the table. Nobody wants to paint. Paint can get messy. And so you don't want to start from a messy space when you're trying to manifest. After this person restores harmony, then they will better understand how, okay, I got to focus on what really matters. And so there are certain things that you may want to put your energy in that is not going to be able to feed you back. Those things are carnal. They will feed your flesh. They will feed the flesh of others. It'll feed your ego, right? But it won't really feed your heart. It won't feed your soul. All right, y'all. So that was our reading. Congrats to being the magic paintbrush. I'll see you on the next one. I love you. Bye-bye.